people are educated, when they have the information they need, when they are confident, when they have the human rights, they know their rights, their responsibilities, when they're working together, when they have had classes that allow them to be able to defend their positions because they have the confidence and the information needed, I think that we will see a huge change in the world.
The origins of TOSTAN date back to 1974, when an American student named Molly Melching came to Senegal as an exchange student from the University of Illinois. After completing her studies, Molly stayed to work as a Peace Corps volunteer in Dakar, creating the first radio program for children in national languages. Her work soon took her to rural villages, where she found that many development efforts were not addressing communities' true needs and realities. Relying heavily on community feedback, Molly and a team of Senegalese cultural specialists started putting together a new type of development program, one that respectfully engaged communities in the process by working in their own language and using traditional methods of learning.
The Community Empowerment Program is a 3-year program. It's not 2 hours, it's not 2 weeks, it's a long commitment for the participants. TOSTAN is inspired from African traditions of discussion and dialogue, of negotiation and mediation. So people come together and they sit in a circle and they discuss. And the whole first year of TOSTAN, called the Kobi, which means to prepare the field for planting, that whole first year is about dialogue and discussion. And that is where we introduce, first of all, a discussion around our vision.
Based on a suggestion from friend and renowned African scholar Cheikh Anta Diop, Molly named the organization TOSTAN, a word that means breakthrough, as the hatching of an egg, in Wolof, the most spoken language in Senegal. When she founded TOSTAN, Molly had no idea that her project was going to save hundreds of lives throughout Africa some years later.
TOSTAN, en tant que sauveur de vie, oui. Les enfants sont vaccinés. Ils assurent le suivi vraiment de calendrier vaccinal. Et en même temps aussi, les femmes en état de grossesse, maintenant, ont le réflexe d'aller faire leur consultation pré- et postnatale.
We have saved lives, but it's really the people themselves that have saved their own lives in terms of being open to learning, to getting new information, and to coming together as communities, as families, and making these important decisions. And also the collaboration we've had with doctors and the nurses and the health centers.
Molly understood that the best way to help these women is to fight illiteracy, giving them a type of education rooted into their cultural environment.
It was Demba Jawara from the village of Kursimbra who came to me and said, Molly, I have really looked into this now, and I see that this practice is harming our daughters. I didn't know.
Le vieux Demba Diawara avait montré qu'il fallait maintenant aller sensibiliser les parents.
He first walked to 10 villages, and those 10 villages, after months of deliberation, came together on February 14th, 1998, and decided to abandon.
ñu nekk ci liggéey boobu ba def benn déclaration Baliga ba ñu ci jógee nag la ñu ma affecté booru Kaolack ma def fa téeméeri dëkk ak ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaar mu dolli ko ci ñaar fukki dëkk yi ma def fii ak ñaar mu nekk ñetti téeméeri dëkk ak ñeent fukk ak juróom-ñaar.
This must have been the reason why she created the Community Empowerment Program, CEP, which covers various educational aspects ranging from human rights, health, hygiene, literacy, to management skills.
The next part of the program is the Audi. The Audi is where people go even further. They learn to read, to write, to do math. They learn to manage their projects.
Le Audi est un mot polar qui signifie semer. Quand nous avons déjà conscientisé les communautés à travers le COBI, maintenant vient le calcul, la gestion et les autres domaines.
As they're learning to read and write, and they do write on paper, and they write text, and they write poetry, yet they also immediately turn to the cell phone, because most of them have cell phones, and they start texting to their friends, to their relatives in other villages, and they immediately see that by reading and writing, they will have an important tool of communication.
Education has been the backbone of the TOSTAN program and has played a major role in the changing of the community's mindset. It also helped them adopt new attitude and vision as their scale of knowledge broadened and they gained a better understanding of the harmful aspects of their traditions.
waaw liggéeyu TOSTAN am na njëriñam bari na ndax benn mbind yàlla defal nañu ci loo xam ne ci dëkk bi ci ay gone ku la ne jànguñu français doo ko gëm. ñaareel ba am na différence yu doxoon suñu digganteeg ay nit te ñuy jullit waaye lépp loo xam ne li ko dindi muy liggéeyu TOSTAN.
Maintenant, avec l'éducation, les hommes ont compris que ce n'est pas la femme seulement qui va travailler tout ce qui est au niveau de la famille.
Going away from excision and early marriages was not easy, as these traditions existed for thousands of years, being perpetrated from one generation to the next. In 1997, a group of women from the Senegalese village of Malikunda Bambara declared their decision to end the practice of excision, a centuries-old tradition in their village.
TOSTAN first put a module on health and human rights as a post-education module. It wasn't part in the beginning of our community empowerment program, but we saw that there was such impact from human rights and such impact from women's health that we decided to make it an integral part of our program.
La santé de la reproduction a permis aux femmes de Malikunda Bambara d'abandonner l'excision la première fois au Sénégal.
On July 31st, the women in front of 20 journalists from Senegal told them why they had made this decision, why they had decided to end the practice, that it was not to fight against a tradition, but rather to promote health, to promote well-being, to promote a new society where women have more healthy relations because they do not have to deal with this problem.
TOSTAN understood that for a sustainable change to take place, they need to fight poverty, providing former excision practitioners and members of the community with new income-generating activities in order to be independent on a financial basis and satisfy their needs.
And what we discovered when we went into the villages is that we couldn't talk about human rights and health and hygiene without doing income-generating activities because the women truly needed support.
TOSTAN apporte son soutien à la communauté à mener son propre développement et à aller de l'avant.
To date, TOSTAN's empowerment mission of African communities to bring about sustainable development and positive social transformation based on human rights has saved the lives of
over 3,000 communities in 8 different countries. In the Gambia now, in Guinea, in Mauritania, in Somalia, in Djibouti. We have seen change come about, but what is so exciting is that it's the people themselves that have decided and brought about this change.
The African communities are not the only one to appreciate Mali Melching's great mission of life-saving and peace factor within families. The international community has already begun recognizing her work and giving her awards.
I read a book called Half the Sky, which was written by Nicholas Kristof, about how empowering women is a very important aspect of international development. And TOSTAN was mentioned in the book, and they sounded like a really great organization. So I researched them a little bit more and found that they had this volunteer program, so I applied.